This point comes from the same verse. Verse 49 is the last point where Jesus says, I must be in my Father's house. So I don't normally like to talk about Greek much. The Bible, the New Testament portion of the Bible was originally written in Greek, and so what we have are English translations. And I really don't like talking about Greek because I don't want to show off, and I don't want anyone to think that they can't really read or know or understand the Bible if they don't know Greek. However, being able to read original Greek, I paid a lot of money in college to be able to do that. It does have its benefit at times, and this case happens to be one of those times where it helps see something that's quite unique. And that's that here in verse 49 actually does not use the Greek word for house. The Greek word for house is oikos, and it's actually used in a bunch of places throughout the New Testament, but not here. Actually, the actual word is things. The word tois. It's things. And so if you translate it literally, what Jesus is saying here is, did you not know that I must be in the things of my Father? I must be in the things of my Father. Now, why that's important is because Jesus wasn't so much saying that he belonged in the temple. That's not what he's saying. What Jesus is saying is he had a mission that God had called him to and had sent him into the world for. There was something Jesus came to be and something he came to do. He had to be in those things. Later on, when Jesus is about 30 years old, he says this, John 5:36, the works that the Father has given me to accomplish, the very works that I am doing, they bear witness about me that the Father has sent me. All throughout Jesus' recorded life, he's on a mission to fulfill God's calling on his life. Jesus' calling and his mission, it's twofold. And that twofold mission, it gets captured in the last verse of our story. Verse 42 when it says that Jesus increased in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man. The first part, Jesus came to be the perfect man. To be the perfect man, to succeed where you and I and every other man, woman has lived, has failed. To be the perfect human, to be the perfect example. Second, Jesus came to give himself to the world. He came to give himself to the world. What's interesting about this phrase, increased in wisdom and stature, is that it was actually a common phrase used in pagans to talk about pagan heroes and pagan gods. So what Luke's doing here, he's doing something that a lot of the Bible writers do all over, and they take something that may have a pagan origin or an ungodly origin, and then they look to see how it's perfectly revealed and fulfilled in Jesus as the Lord of all things, and they apply it to him. So essentially what Luke is saying here about Jesus with this phrase is he's the best hero of them all. He's the best. He's got a hero story from the time of his birth. He's got a hero's childhood. And just wait until you hear about the life of Jesus and what he did and what he accomplished. He's the hero. When Jesus went into the temple, verse 47 says these old, learned, wise men, that they were amazed by him. They're amazed at him. Throughout the story of Jesus, we're going to see Luke use this word, this phrase a lot, that every time people are amazed at Jesus. They're amazed at him. He engages all kinds of people, all throughout the story, throughout the book, and everyone is amazed by him. He continues to grow in favor with people everywhere. The reason Luke wrote what he did for us is that he's hoping through the story that Jesus might win our favor as well. That we would hear about Jesus and we too would be amazed. And I don't know about you, but studying the story and looking at it, it's an amazing story. Jesus at the age of 12 and what he says and what he shows us and teaches us about God. During the time of Luke when this was written, there were all kinds of stories about, supposed gods who come to earth and these child prodigies who accomplish great feats. You got, for example, the story of Hercules. He's in his crib, a little baby, and a snake sneaks in there and he kills the snake, Hercules, and then he grows up and he has this divine strength to slay lions and bulls and demons. But Hercules' strength, it's always limited. He has some divinity, but he's extremely proud and he's always besought with these sexual temptations and exploits. The Greek gods, you look at them, they're always just kind of like a little better than man, but they suffer all the faults and failures of man. With Jesus, what we encounter is a story like none other. The story of a boy who was fully God at his birth, one who held back the divine display of his full divinity, and in humility as a human allows himself to be taught. And he's one who resists temptation at every turn and succeeds, not so that he could one-up man or use man, but so that he could save mankind. The story of Jesus is the story of the supreme God come to earth for you and I. It's no less than amazing. There's none like it. Jesus is it. He's the one. He's the hero. He's amazing. That's why, every single book or movie that has a decent story and it has a hero in it. Got to have a hero to have a good story. And Jesus is the hero of all heroes. He's the hero every hero story points to. It's amazing. For us, for you and I today, our calling, Jesus had a calling, a mission to fulfill. Ours is simply an extension of his. God's given each and every one of us different gifts and different talents that he means for us to use to engage as many people as possible so that they might hear how good and amazing Jesus is. Each one of us are different in our own unique way. We've got unique opportunities to offer our time and our treasures and talents to join Jesus in his mission. Do you know what that is for you? Colossians 4:17 says this, "See to it that you complete or fulfill the ministry that you have received in the Lord." There's something God means for every one of us to do, and he means for us to see to it that we complete it. We play a part. So are you doing that? How are you giving your time and talents and treasures for the mission of Jesus, to spread the amazingness of who Jesus is?